Hi, everybody. My name is Ian Denning. I'm going to be reading a piece of a short story called Drawing of a Spaceship Breaking Up Over the Moon from Moon City Review 2019. Before I get started, I don't know when you're watching this, but when I'm recording it, it's been about 3 weeks since the protests started around the deaths of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, most recently Rayshard Brooks, also too many people to name. And if you're not involved, I would urge you to find a way to get involved. Even if it's only getting your wallet involved. Maybe you donate to Black Lives Matter Global Network or the ACLU or Minnesota Freedom Fund or any bail fund in your area or where you know that protesters might need it. And then also, if you're white, talk to your family about this. Maybe consider reading books with them about this, like maybe White Fragility or Raising White Kids. Make this a conversation that happens all the time, everywhere, and not just in communities of color or when something like this happens. Make it constant. And with that, drawing of a spaceship breaking up over the moon. The day before my brother's 12th birthday, my dad brought me to the toy store in the mall. It was September. School nights were dark and quiet, and I was happy to escape the house. "You're my advisor," Dad said, and reached over and cuffed my shoulder. "We'll find him something good." I didn't care what toy my brother got. I knew he wouldn't let me play with it, and I was as selfish as any 10-year-old boy, lost deep in my own private worlds. I had already seen everything in the toy store. I walked through the tropical frog colors of the squirt gun aisle while Dad compared 3 remote control cars with a clerk. How much juice are we really going to get out of a 7.2-volt battery? I dug my hand into the bin of 20-cent rubber dinosaurs. I loved the dull prick of their horns against my fingers and the clean latex smell they left behind. And then I saw the sign for the Super Toy Spree sweepstakes. "How many toys can you grab in 5 minutes?" it asked. "Dad, can I sign up for this?" Dad, busy with the clerk, said, "Sure, Matt, go ahead." I filled out the postcard and slipped it into the slot of the cardboard stand. Dad bought the most expensive of the 3 RC cars. Neil was having a party with his friends at a paintball field that weekend, so it was just me and Mom and Dad around our kitchen table to watch him blow out the candles. Neil's face didn't change when he opened the RC car. "Check out the suspension," Dad said. He traced his finger across the oversized shock springs on the box. Very rugged. "I thought maybe we could take it out to the baseball fields this weekend." "Sure, Dad," Neil said, and slid it aside so he could tear into Mom's present. It was a sweatshirt from the Gap, the brand name printed in distressed block letters folded as carefully as a flag. "Thought you should hit middle school in style," Mom said. Dad held it up against Neil to check the fit. "Looks pretty swanky." "Yeah, real swanky," Neil said, the mockery in his voice a shade too light for Dad to pick up. He grabbed the shirt and returned it to its box. "It's perfect, Mom." After cake, I locked myself in my room. Who was excited to get a shirt for their birthday? An RC car was way better. If I won the Super Toy Spree sweepstakes, I'd build a whole fleet of RC cars. I flopped across my bed and opened my notebook to the first fresh page. Over the last few weeks, I'd filled 20 pages with epic space battles, raked back capital ships and fighters like darting stilettos, an insectoid alien race inspired by a hornet I had traced out of an encyclopedia, incandescent laser fire and bubbling explosions. I had designed all the ships myself and filled the back pages with histories and descriptions of heroic space captains and tragic alien warriors bound by their race's strict warrior code. I flipped to the drawing I had started yesterday, an alien hive ship exploding above a moon, and kept sketching. In their bedroom down the hall, my parents were arguing. I could hear their T's and D's clipping through the walls. I heard Dad mention my brother, Mom say the words "middle school boys" and spit my father's name, but I couldn't hear the details. I switched off my lamp and let my room fill with the light of the moon, filtered blue by my galaxy curtains. I put my ear against my pillow to dampen Mom and Dad's argument, and I stared at the glow-in-the-dark sticker of Saturn that I had stuck to my desk drawer, reduced in the dark in its own fading phosphorescence to a stain of light. Years after my parents' divorce, After Neil got his MBA and worked on Wall Street, and after my art school and grinding on part-time design gigs finally paid off, my brother moved back to the Portland suburbs with his family and into a house identical to the one in which we grew up. The house was in a cul-de-sac a few miles from our old home, but it must have been built by the same contractor. Same floor plan, same canted ceilings, same feeling of expensive suburbia that I had grown up with, a heaviness to the walls and the doors and the air itself. I didn't know why Neil chose the house, but then I didn't know why Neil did anything. We had even less in common as adults than we'd had as kids. I was softening into my mid-30s. Neil, with his paleo diet and thrice-weekly CrossFit, looked more and more every year like he was carved out of oak. I lived in a studio in Seattle, clogged with dirty laundry and takeout boxes. Neil and his wife's home had been photographed for the lifestyle and leisure section of Portland Monthly. Neil played golf. I played Dungeons and Dragons. We only ever talked on birthdays and holidays. I went down at Christmas to visit Dad and wound up staying in Neil's guest room. Walking through the house felt like watching a movie and realizing halfway through you've seen it before. Mom and Dad's room was Neil and his wife's. Mom's office had become Neil's office. The desk in a different corner, but the stacks of papers and notes and the whiff of workaholism almost identical. My room, pink and scattered with princess dolls and coloring books, belonged now to Sarah, Neil's 4-year-old daughter. Seeing my childhood excavated like that made me feel tired. I should take a cab, I thought, sleep in the airport, catch a red-eye. I should get away from all this. Instead, I hid from the other adults with Neil's kids in the basement playroom, same playroom, newer electronics, and played video games. My nephew Hank worshipped me because I worked for the company that made his favorite series. His parents didn't let him have my games, too violent, so he had to play them at his friends' houses. So you get paid to draw aliens? Pretty much, I said. Do you still like to draw? Sometimes. Do you draw the aliens or do you draw the Marines? Little bits of everything, I said. I'm an assistant to the art director who's like the boss. He has a picture in his mind about how he wants the game to look, and I help him to make it look like that. That's so cool, Hank said. It was mostly answering emails and sitting in meetings, but you can't tell a 10-year-old that. Yeah, it's very cool, I said. I got my own project on the last game. I made the alien homeworld. Hank frowned. I don't think I've gotten to their homeworld yet. You will, I said. Upstairs, the phone rang. I could tell by Neil's voice when he answered that it was Mom. Sarah and Hank must have known too because they bolted upstairs. They loved Grandma. I stayed, sitting cross-legged in the room that both was and was not my childhood basement, thinking about the ancient constellation of my family. At a gaming conference in Boston a few years ago, I met another Super Toy Spree sweepstakes winner at a bar. He was a pop culture blogger and looked like all the other pop culture bloggers swarming the convention hall. Button-down shirt, expo badge, expensive-looking glasses. There was no evidence that as a child he had been touched by absurd fortune. My dad filmed my reaction when they told me. He said, I lost it. Like, I totally lost it. N64 Christmas Kid level ape shit. It's on YouTube. What's your Twitter handle? I'll tweet you the link. I wished I could have shared a similar experience, but that's not how I reacted. And with that, I'm going to stop. Again, please do consider donating or getting involved in any way you can, and thank you very much for listening and watching.